Saint Petersburg is the second largest city in Russia. It is situated on the Neva River at the head of the Gulf of Finland on the Baltic Sea, with a population of roughly 5.4 million residents. Saint Petersburg is the fourth most populous city in Europe after Istanbul, Moscow, and London, the most populous city on the Baltic Sea, and the world's northernmost city of more than 1 million residents. As Russia's imperial capital and a historically strategic port, it is governed as a federal city. The city was founded by Tsar Peter the Great on May 27, 1703, on the site of a captured Swedish fortress, and was named after Apostle Saint Peter. In Russia, Saint Petersburg is historically and culturally associated with the birth of the Russian Empire and Russia's entry into modern history as a European great power. It served as a capital of the Tsardom of Russia and the subsequent Russian Empire from 1713 to 1918, being replaced by Moscow for a short period of time between 1728 and 1730. After the October Revolution in 1917, the Bolsheviks moved their government to Moscow. The fifth most populated city in the state, St. Petersburg, is known as Florida's Sunshine City. There are 361 sunny days each year on average. Logging a world with St. Pete for a year record for the longest stretch of sunlight from 1967 to 1969, 768 days without anything but sun and fun. St. Petersburg grew during the 1800s. A Russian exile made it the Orange Belt Railway's conclusion. Yes, the name of St. Petersburg is derived from the Russian city. Beginning in the early 1900s, tourism exploded. In the late 1940s, after the war, one of the first Florida governors was Pete. Cities will actively promote former travel as a retirement activity months here. Hello and welcome to KYC News. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. St. Petersburg's downtown area is now dynamic, constantly changing and reinventing itself to draw a younger audience. Trendy eateries and bars line Central Avenue and are present next to several of the finest state-run museums. The city's renowned pier recently got a significant makeover to make it. There are still traces of the more contemporary vintage St. Peter. Looking back in time when roadside stops were the norm, Florida, when it comes to the top attractions. Because since everything is arbitrary here, even locals will tell you that there is a lot. Even they have not accomplished everything. Consequently, we're showing you this episode's what we believe you ought to view when you're the finest activities when visiting ST. Must be first on your list of priorities. A lot more information from the Bay region. Those who already adore St. Pete won't take the top spot on our list. Come as a huge shock, this place has hosted a number of several piers over time, each one that is more elaborate than the previous one, stretching from the historic Pleasure Pier into Tampa Bay's Azure Waves during a recent multi-million $100 facelift. The most recent iteration contains the Pier District on 26 acres that improves this area for a contemporary community event space. The Discovery Center will appeal to families, featuring interactive Tampa displays. Peculiar environment of the Bay. Children can use their energy on the play area or a splash pad to cool down, while Spa Beach is a fantastic place to relax. Just enough sand to cover your toes. Multi-level Pure Point is outstanding. Where restaurants are located, a rooftop, the views of a tiki bar, and a retail shop. The Bay and St. Petersburg skyline from up here are stunning. Public art enhances the atmosphere of including this enormous billowing pier net that is always moving with the breeze. Moreover, this sculpture honors the first commercial flight in history, which occurred here in St. Pete a while ago in 1914. Visits to the Pier District are free and is accessible 30 minutes before. Dawn closing at 11 p.m. Meter parking spaces are available on Pure Drive, and 2 parking garages are located on the property at a staggering $3,000. The St. Petersburg Pier is one of the biggest on the planet. A tram is accessible to transport guests outside. Compare points starting at the waterfront in the city. It is few streets to the west and Central Street. This may be the hippest, trendiest thing ever. Roadway in Florida that is unmissable when you go to St. Petersburg. Several energetic stores and galleries, pubs and eateries along the corridor. Filthy, an unassuming storefront. A excellent spot to grab a snack is the laundry. Breakfast is a pastry and a cup of coffee. Come back to this phony laundromat and the places you can enter in the evening. A speakeasy for late-night drinking libations. The outdoors is a wonderful location to visit your beverages while stargazing. Central Avenue is a trendy, artistic street. The most enjoyable activities are block walks. To prevent taking pictures of the numerous along the journey, murals on the central waterfront, and here there are several widely respected museums you may visit for an entire day. 2 or more days at the James Museum of a gallery for Western and wildlife art, collection of works of art that reference American West. Imagine a museum with a breathtaking assemblage of glass art from several countries world, and this standout structure on the shoreline is the location of an unrivaled collection of prominent 20th century Salvatore Dali, a 20th century artist. I'm currently outside one of Florida's historical roadside sites, originating a century ago, buying 6 acres of land. George Turner, a little lake and other land that he had drained to create his own buried area. Garden. Following the cultivation of various citrus, he began growing unusual fruits and plants. Giving guests a nickel to walk through the lovely environment. Turner increased the cost to 24 cents. After several years of garden fence, later sunken gardens was popular in the 1950s and 1960s. A top 10 commercial property in the state. Attractions that are currently run in the gardens by St. Petersburg, Russia, and with the aid of volunteers, maintained. Just outside of St. Petersburg, 5 different keys. Fort de Soto Park with peak more than 1,100 acres of land make up the park. Waterfront for more than 7 kilometers, including over 3 miles of stunning white sandy shore. The highlight of this for history buffs is the military fortification is property. Created to shield Tampa Bay from any occupying forces, Fort de Soto's construction began and it started in 1898 and ended in 1906. The AC shell stone was used for the ceiling and walls. Also mixed concrete. The fort had 12-inch cannons and weaponry. The post-coastal defense mortar batteries comprised 29 structures in all, from substantial barracks, a hospital, and along with a blacksmith and carpenter shop, a dining area. There was at least one business there up until when the troops were relocated to 1910 Alabama. Several hurricanes have struck over the years, and tropical storms wrecked or caused damage several buildings at the post. This structure is a replica of the employed as an Army quartermaster storehouse, mostly to maintain supply, music. The county acquired the land in the Fort de Soto, built in the late 1930s, as a long-established destination for recreation. This is due to acres of shallow water. Preferred location for wading anglers on the 2 piers. Fishing is permitted. Now check out a selection of other leisure Fort de Soto's features and activities. Park. That concludes the list of the top attractions. What activities do you enjoy doing in St. Petersburg when you're there? Let us know some of your favorites in the remarks that we usually like reading. You keep up with our most recent stuff by it's free to subscribe to the channel and turn on the alarm clock so you knowing when new guidelines and advice released. More details about the information on this channel, features, maps that are useful, and links are always available on our website. I appreciate you watching and see you next time.